I've got a submission here from MrYoshi. MrYoshi, I've watched your video and I've got your log here. I didn't sync your video up with the log because there's like 9 different logs in here and I can't really tell which one goes where in the video. So I guess that's one of the effects of using the SD flash instead of an open log. You get a bunch of broken up logs instead of one big one, but there you go. I couldn't really figure out how to sync the video up, so I didn't. The other thing is that, I'm not trying to be anybody's mom, but in the video you're flying next to some high tension power lines, some high voltage power lines, and I just cringed the whole time, Like there was that guy, whoever it was, who flew their copter into the power line in LA and knocked out a whole neighborhood's power for like I don't know, for a long time. And then shortly after that, the city of LA, the whole city of LA banned UAV. I don't know what they banned, multi-rotors, UAVs, something. I don't like I said, I'm not trying to be anybody's mom, but I don't think anybody needs to be flying that close to those lines. Even if you were perfectly in control, you got kind of close to him. By my eye, if I was flying, I would have felt nervous about how close I was to him. I don't. Anyway, I've said my piece. I don't think that's a good idea. I appreciate that you didn't put the video up on YouTube for people to see and respond to. It was just a Google Drive link, but I I, I don't think it puts a good face on the sport, and I don't think the risk that you like what are the chances that you fly a copter into a high voltage line and it like knocks the line down? That could never happen. Or could it? I don't know. I mean, it happened in LA. Okay, it wasn't a high voltage line in LA. It was just a regular power line, but anyway, made me cringe. Let's look at your black box and we'll just forget that any of that happened. Um, I can see in your video that you have problems with vibration because I can see in the high def video there's some vibration. Now, it may just be that you have a normal amount of vibration in your copter, but your camera maybe needs a little bit of foam underneath it. I don't know how your camera is mounted. You have a GoPro on there. If it's hard mounted without any foam at all, I always put just a little bit of Cobra motor foam or something underneath the camera just to give it a tiny bit of vibration isolation. So maybe it's just that you're hard mounted. Also, you have 40/40 4-inch props, so that's going to make less vibration than bigger props. So that's not it. It does look like you have a little bit of extra vibration though. Now, when we look at your gyro traces and look at the thickness of the traces, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look problematic. They're relatively thin, although the yaw trace looks a little bit noisy. Just a little bit. So one of the things, so let's look further into that. One of the things you asked about was kind of a wobble after you do rolls. So let's see if we can find a roll in here, and then we'll take a look at what's going on. So I found what seems like a relatively clean example of a roll. A lot of your rolls, you don't end them very cleanly. You're not recentering the stick, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're just flying, right? But if you don't cleanly recenter the stick, then it's hard to judge the tune, because when the stick is centered, then the copter should be at zero motion, and anything other than zero motion allows you to figure out what's going on with the PID controller. But when you go from a roll from like 100% deflection to like 15% deflection, it's a little harder to judge whether the PID loop is doing what it ought to be doing. But I did find a relatively clean example of a roll. Here we go into the roll, right? Gyro goes negative as you push the stick left. We've got RC command on the bottom that's showing us what your stick is doing. You hold the stick in position. We can see the I term wandering around during the move. This is something that a version of Betaflight would help, because Betaflight zeroes the I term when the stick deflection is high. But so the I term it doesn't really need to be doing anything in a move like this. The gyro is negative. The P term is sort of wandering around. We don't see hard oscillations. That's fine. And then as you recenter the stick, watch here. You recenter the stick gradually and then sharply. Again, nothing wrong with that. You're just flying. Right here. Notice that the P term is opposing the move. The gyro is negative. The P term is positive. So it's slowing the move down aggressively. The gyro rapidly approaches zero. And in fact, your tune is just about freaking perfect here. Because look, right here is where your RC command hits 0, and almost a negligible amount of time later, the gyro rate is also 0. Okay, so that's fine. That's all good. Your RC command reached 0, the gyro reached 0, the P term reached 0. Everything seems basically correct, but it keeps going, doesn't it? It doesn't stop. It keeps going the other direction. So now it's reached 0, and as the gyro is positive, it's rebounding. We could ask ourselves, why is that happening? And one way we could help answer the question is by looking at the PID sum. And we can see that the PID sum line, which is the sum of the I, the D, and the P components, is closely matching the P line. You can see right here, P is dominating, and then P goes down right here. So one of the things I'm wondering about is the I term is positive and is opposing the P term. So the I term is positive, the P term is negative, or here the P term is 0. The P term is 0 here, which is correct. The stick is at 0, the gyro is at 0. They are in agreement, therefore there is no error. That's why the P term is 0 also. The I term is still trying to unwind accumulated error from the past and is positive. So and then the gyro goes positive. So we could ask, is the I term being positive pushing the gyro to be positive when really the gyro should be 0? But we can see down here that the PID sum, in fact, is strongly negative even while the gyro is positive. So it is not the I term that is pushing this rebound motion. The rebound is just a function of how sharply, I guess, the P term stopped the movement. And as the gyro goes positive, the P term opposes that, which again is correct. And then you push back into the move with the stick, and then of course everything is different. At that point you're back, you're flying again. So what do we got going on here? We don't have a situation where excess I gain is causing a rebound due to I term windup. We can tell that because even though the I term is consistent with the rebound is positive, the I term is positive. So the I term is pushing the rebound, it's accentuating the rebound, but it's not causing the rebound because the PID sum is still massively negative during the rebound. So the I term isn't helping, but it's not hurting much either. It's not doing much. So that's not the issue. If I had to guess, I would say that the most likely thing, that this is going to be fixed with P term tuning. We could certainly ask whether the P term was too aggressive at stopping the movement, and therefore the rebound occurred because the P term pushed so hard it started the copter moving the other direction and sort of overshot. If that were the case, though, I think I would expect to see ringing oscillations and not just a single bounce. And I don't see ringing oscillations. I also don't really see many indications of excess P gain elsewhere in the trace. So based on that, my gut feeling is that your P gain on roll can come up, and that will help. My gut feeling is that it's not that P gain is too high and is pushing the rebound, but that it's too weak and it's a little bit behind the curve. Yeah, I don't see any real oscillations. There's not a lot of super high throttle moves here, but I don't really see. Here's a case where the P term is definitely active, starting to get into the realm of oscillations, but that's a very rare case. In almost every other place, the P term is hardly doing anything. So I feel like the thing I would do here's the only time where P really gets out of line. I don't know what's going on here. Something may be going on with wind or something. That's the only case where P really gets out of line. Even here, where P is super active, we have 1, 2, 3 oscillations, but then it settles back down again and goes from sort of harder oscillations to just active but not oscillating. Let's see what your settings are. You're on re-rate, your pitch P is 5.4, your roll P is 4.2. Well, it's hard for me to judge because you got the 4-inch props. I don't fly a tweaker, so I don't know, but uh it feels to me like, yeah, like maybe that could come up a little bit. Like roll could come up, and if roll can come up, pitch can probably come up, because roll and pitch on that frame should probably not be the same. That frame has got centralized weight distribution along the roll axis and a wider weight distribution along the pitch axis. Therefore, the pitch P gain should be higher than the roll P gain, assuming you're not using a custom mix, which you're not. Yeah, you're not. So let's take a look then at pitch and see if the same situation is present. But yeah, roll P would come up. That would be my suggestion. Yeah, yep, same thing. So pitch and roll P, bump them up by about, let's say 0.3, 0.3, both of them. Leave D alone. Don't do anything on D. And let's just take a look at your yaw axis. You said you had some tuning issues on your yaw axis. Yeah. And yaw looks okay. I wouldn't mess it. It looks a little big. Like things like this I don't love. Maybe yaw P could come down a little bit if you're going to see a lot of that. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah. Yeah, yaw P is a little high. What is it? Nine. Take that down. Let's take that down to like 7.5. That's what I think. And then yeah, I know that 13 and 17, I think those must be the defaults, because now that's the second time I've seen that tonight. But I would knock those down until you're sure you got your P dialed in. Your D terms don't look out of control, so let's not take them all the way down to 5. But especially if you keep seeing that noise in the high def video, that vibration in the high def video, let's knock these down a little bit to like 10, maybe. I don't think they need to go all the way down to 5, because even at these values they look pretty well. They don't look out of control. But it's hard to say because your P terms aren't doing a lot. But I feel like these could maybe come down to 10 and 8. That's what I think. And then yeah, let's take yaw P down as well. There's several times like here where you got these strong oscillations here, these spikes on yaw, where yaw P looks like it's getting a little out of line. So let's knock that down a little too. But P on pitch and roll, let's take that up a little, and that's what I think. As far as the vibration goes, it doesn't look like you have a ton of vibration on the copter. So since I'm seeing vibration in the high def camera, the next thing I would do would be to look to do a little mechanical vibration isolation with maybe foam if you don't have it already. If you do have foam already, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you got a bad prop on there. I don't know, because your gyros don't look too bad. But alrighty, there you go. Hope it's helpful. Happy flying. But not near power lines. Please, not near power lines. Lord. Just go fly near the airport. No, don't do that either. Happy flying. Bye.